You can now make your own marbled background by the use of this stamp from Waffle Flower. Now I know it looks very strange, but that's the magic of it. It is called a layering marble look, and that's what it's going to create. Now at paperwishes.com you can print out this sheet because this is on the product page, and it comes from Waffle Flower, and just gives you a little bit more information. Now on the stamp itself, let me bring that back, and you can see we're going to have to get a bit closer. So each of the shapes has an indication of a letter and a number. So this is C1, and you see that thin line around it? Well, that's wrapping up everything that is in the C area. So C2 and C3. We've got an A1 up here. We have a B1, a B2, and a B3. We have a D1, a D2, and a D3. So those are all different shapes. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that you kind of can't go wrong. You don't have to align things perfectly, although the clear stamps really help you do exactly that. The reason is because marble is by definition an organic shape. It is formless, but what it does have is different intensities. So let me show you a pattern that Belinda made using the stamp, and you can kind of see, let me put the stamp by it. You see this piece right here? Well, it was actually made with this, with the C area. Right here, this was made with the B area. Is that, hopefully you can see that. So you see how that kind of is sticking out? There you go. But there has 3 layers of color, but you put them all together and it looks marbled. So here is a card that Belinda made, and I love that kind of marbly look behind the mermaid cutting dies. The mermaid cutting dies are by Hot Off the Press, and very fun to have. But it's nice to see it like this because you can really see the different intensities of the colors. So thought we might practice and see how this can come about. Now, highly recommend the Cat's Eye Cues because they come in a gradation of colors. That way you don't have to buy 17 million individual large pads, ink pads. And so this is the blues, and they are pigment inks. And you want to start, in fact, it tells us on this sheet, the number 1 is the lightest shade, the number 2 is medium, and the number 3 is the darkest. So we'll do it in that sequence also. So I've taken C number 1, which is this shape, and I've put it on my acrylic block, and I want to go in here and find the lightest color. So that's going to be this one. And I'm going to ink it up, and then we'll put it right on the paper. Now, it's not going to look like anything probably as these things happen unless it's all finished. So going to place that down, and I hope we'll be able to see that because it is such a light blue. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's very, very light. Now, I'll pull that off and go in with number 2, pull it off the backing sheet and place it here. Now, where to align this, you might be asking. Well, we'll look. So we want a medium. Obviously the darkest is going to go into the navies. So I'm going to go with the second one and do this. Ink that up. Now, so far as aligning, the sheet that you can print off gives an idea for that alignment. So this funny little shape is going to go into that funny little shape. So we'll see how that works. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to go sideways for a second. And I'm just going to, and again, I'm not going to worry if it is properly aligned because it doesn't have to be. Okay, that's a pretty light blue, isn't it? So let me do another layer, because this isn't going to be any helpful unless you can see it. And if it is too light a blue, I'll go to a different color. And I've got, I think, 5 or 6 choices right there. So I'm going back to align it. Did you notice I'm doing that even without a MISTI? Aren't you proud of me? Okay, so you see there is a darker shade right there. Now the third one is this kind of odd shaped piece. And I'll put that on, and we'll go into the navy. Now there isn't much on this, and you can see that when you look at a marbled thing, it's not going to be very, very thick. So I'm going to place that, right here. Okay, now we have a marbled look. So you see it is this organic shape. Now it looks a little bit odd just right there on the paper all by itself, but just imagine getting all over, and that's what Belinda has done here. I appreciate that she did it in the reds and the oranges and the maroons, and what she also did on her card. So I invite you to play and create lots of marbling. There are some examples, of course, at paperwishes.com, and playing with the colors is really going to be fun, and I'll tell you, grays are beautiful.